you voting for Kamala Harris? Because you know Obama told you to. Let's talk about it. So yesterday, Barack Obama decided it was a good idea to come out of his house, save Kamala Harris's sinking ship in Pittsburgh, and talk shit about Trump for a few minutes, and then gather a bunch of black men behind signage that says black male voters and basically tell them, you better vote for Kamala Harris. The numbers are not looking good, and especially amongst the brothers. You guys supported me when I was running, and I expect you to support her. I expect you to vote for Kamala Harris. It's the audacity for me. First of all, you can't tell any black man what to do ever. That's first of all. Second of all, when is he massa? When is he gonna think that he could go in front of a bunch of black men and tell them what to do? Like, is that what we're doing right now? Like, who made him in charge of what black men do or don't do? So the small percentage of black men who were either going to vote for Kamala Harris or were leaning and undecided but leaning towards her, they're absolutely not going to vote for Kamala Harris. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to vote for Trump, but they're for sure not voting for her.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, it seems what we have here is the clear ability of Obama really just trying to insult black men, right? And trying to shame you into voting for Kamala Harris, because this is all that they got. This is all that they can do in order to, survive under the, against Donald Trump here, right? And what I want to show you here are clips of really just Barack Obama really just going after the black man because, well, black men have to go and vote for Kamala Harris or else you're not a strong man. You're not an actual black man. You are weak. You are a disgrace. And that's pretty much what Obama is relaying here to the black men because they just don't want to vote for somebody that seems completely incompetent in what they do.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. Because it was my economy. We had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. I had spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me the last time. So just in case everybody has a hazy memory, he didn't do nothing except those big tax cuts. I'm sorry, gentlemen. I've noticed this especially with some men who seem to think Trump's behavior, the bullying and the putting people down, is a sign of strength. And I am here to tell you that is not what real strength is. It never has been. Real strength is about working hard and carrying a heavy load without complaining. Real strength is about taking responsibility for your actions and telling the truth even when it's inconvenient. Real strength is about helping people who need it and standing up for those who can't always stand up for themselves. That is what we should want for our daughters and for our sons, and that is what I want to see in a president of the United States of America.
Alright, there's some things that I had to go over here because first off, when Obama is addressing these things like, oh, I gave off my reins to him, I gave off my job growth to him, right? I gave off my job growth to President Trump. Well, this is what he's saying here, right? And then as he's saying this, he's just flat out lying. Now, what we have here, guys, is just the actual Barack Obama from 2009 to 2017, and his GDP growth was 1%, right? 1%. His unemployment rate was 4.4%. His inflation rate was 2.5%, and his poverty rate was 14%. All right? Now, let's go to Donald Trump. All right? Somehow, Obama gave Trump a 1.6% growth rate, a 6.4, and then a massive, a almost 2.7% employment rate. And inflation rate was 1.4%, which dropped by dropped almost a whole percent. And then the poverty rate dropped by like 3%. So 2% technically. And we also have to think about this, guys, about this is all during COVID. So these percentages and these rates would be probably significantly better if it wasn't for COVID. If COVID didn't hit, Trump would be doing a lot better, which probably has a lot to do with the unemployment rate because, again, when you go down to the unemployment rate, it was COVID, right? I wouldn't blame any president for this. It was during COVID, and they shut down the country for this because, of course, their unemployment rate is going to go up, regardless of who it was. Barack Obama or Biden is going to have a high unemployment rate if you're counting COVID. Now, let's go to Joe Biden here. Yes, Joe Biden's GDP growth is 2.6%, but his unemployment rate is 3.5%, and his inflation rate is 5%, and his poverty rate is 12.80%. It's insanity here. So, let me blow this up for you guys to all see here. Look at these three people, and if you're going to go and tell me who has the best actual percentage for the American people when it comes down to stuff like this, right? It's Donald Trump all the way, especially if you're going to talk about, what is Donald Trump going to be like if he doesn't have to worry about COVID? If he doesn't have to worry about COVID or some of these other things that is going on, then his job growth is going to be massive. His unemployment rate is going to be completely down, almost a whole bunch. So when you compare these three people, it's like almost not comparable in why you would choose Trump. So Barack Obama is trying to take some glory for what Donald Trump did and flat out lying to people when it shows right here that his percentages on just the economy in general is horrible. It didn't grow at all. And then this is what Obama had to say to black men here on, voting for Kamala Harris, not voting for Kamala Harris, but voting for Trump, because obviously but beating down and insulting black men is just the thing to do in the modern era, right? If you're not voting for the Democratic Party, well, I guess we're going to have to insult you and make sure you stay on that plantation, because, that's all the things that you have to do as a black man.
Is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office.
So this is just Obama lecturing black men on it's like, you gotta go vote for Kamala Harris. Like, what about the people that grew up with you? Who are you? And stuff like that, right? First of all, just because somebody is of the same racial background as you doesn't mean they experienced anything of what your life is. Because obviously Kamala Harris is in that very, very small percentage of people that has higher income than most, so nobody can actually connect to her at all in terms of actual money wise. So that's not gonna work. And another thing, too, is that she's just fake. She's not a real black person, from what I gathered. From what she was going for, she was saying that she was Indian, all right? So she was saying that she was going off Indian. Now, does she have black in her? I don't know. I don't care if she does. Just because she's black does not mean that she is qualified for the job. And I'll make this $1.50, guys. I'll make this $1.50. If honestly, if she is a black woman and she gets into office, and when she does do a terrible job, because she will do a terrible job, she is going to make a mockery of not just women, but black women and black people in general, because people would automatically think that she is not competent, or black people, or black women, or women in general are not competent enough for the job, because she's going to do a terrible job. And this would make more people going to say, yeah, we're really shouldn't use black vote for women anymore, because obviously the last time we had a woman in president, she did a horrible job. We were like in multiple wars. There was can't predict exactly all of the bad that's going to happen, but it's just not going to be good. And when that does happen, you're not going to get another female president again. So it's not just like, you know, the state of like what the country's going to be. It's going to be ruining women for presidential candidates forever. Because it would be the first female president that would become president, and the only thing that you would have is a complete and utter failure of presidency from Kamala Harris. And there's just nothing that we can do here, right? There's just it's complete insanity for Obama. The audacity for this man to tell on what black men should do is just disgusting. Obama, go back to your multi-million-dollar mansion that's in Florida, or in that rich area, right? Where you kicked out all those illegals that you didn't want there, and go stay there. Go away. Black people don't want to deal with your shit. Nobody wants to deal with what you have to deal here, because you can't go and tell what black men can do. The same thing as what a white person can't go and tell what a white person goes to do, or whatever person would have you, right? The audacity that this man's going to come out here and say that and go shame and belittle and denounce black men for voting a different way is insanity here. I think that black men that go vote for Kamala Harris is not a wise move. I think they're making a mistake, but I ain't gonna go belittle him or denounce him and stuff like that, right? That's just stupid. The fact that he's doing this just shows how desperate the Democratic Party is, and how low they're going to stoop in order to try to get the black vote. I'm going to say one thing here, and I was to say, insult people, and the last thing they're going to do is going to want to be on your side. Full bar. Full none, that's the way it is. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. This is algorithmic disease, the social media.